High-stress mechanical environments push components to their absolute physical limits. The engineering challenge is both chemical and structural. Economical bulk metals with high internal toughness frequently lack the extreme surface hardness required to survive prolonged friction or corrosive elements. Because of this, a stressed component typically fails in one of two distinct ways. Either it fractures completely through its solid core, or it degrades microscopically at the surface through galling and wear. This diagram illustrates the structural solution known as decoupling. Instead of searching for a perfect material, engineers no longer rely solely on inherent properties. They maintain an inexpensive, structurally tough core, but wrap it in a highly engineered, ultra-thin barrier tuned for the external environment. To alter this interface, metallurgists utilize three primary physical mechanisms: additive coatings, diffusive hardening, and electrochemical conversion. Mastering these three approaches is the only way to build complex, highly durable machinery without incurring the massive financial penalty of casting entire components out of exotic solid alloys. As shown in this microscopic cross-section of a steel substrate, the additive category of surface engineering relies on physically depositing a completely new, distinct material layer onto a baseline metal. Galvanizing is a primary example. It utilizes a hot dip process, immersing the steel directly into a bath of molten zinc to form a tightly bonded exterior coating. This newly deposited zinc layer provides a dual-action defense. First, it functions as a strict physical barrier, physically blocking environmental moisture and oxygen from reaching the vulnerable steel beneath. Second, zinc acts as a sacrificial anode. If a mechanical scratch breaches the coating, the zinc will chemically corrode preferentially, sacrificing itself to keep the exposed steel structurally sound. Heat-based dipping is effective, but electroplating offers a highly controlled alternative. By running an electrical current through a chemical bath, engineers deposit much thinner, precisely smooth layers of metals like chromium or nickel onto a base component. Chrome plating, applied through this electroplating process, yields a specific combination of aesthetic finish, high wear resistance, and long-term corrosion protection. However, both dipping and electroplating face a severe scaling constraint: bath size. You cannot immerse complex, oversized geometries or massive infrastructure into a chemical tank. For large applications, engineers use thermal spray techniques. This involves melting protective alloys and propelling them at high velocity in open air, building up a resilient layer directly on the target surface. Conversely, physical vapor deposition, or PVD, requires a sealed vacuum chamber. It vaporizes coating materials to condense extraordinarily hard, ultra-thin layers, specifically onto precision machining tools. Through these additive techniques, engineers maintain total control over a barrier's chemistry, painting the exact defense mechanism a component needs directly onto its surface. Moving away from external barriers, we enter the extreme heat of thermal surface modification. In the diffusive category, absolutely no new layer is added. Instead, high heat and controlled atmospheric conditions force foreign atoms directly into the existing interstitial spaces of the metal's native atomic lattice. During carburizing, steel is exposed to high temperatures in a carbon-rich environment. Carbon atoms diffuse into the surface layer, creating a dense chemical gradient that forms a hardened outer case. To lock that diffused carbon in place and achieve the final extreme surface hardness, the steel requires a mandatory second step: rapid cooling, known as quenching. But rapid quenching carries a severe engineering trade-off. The sudden thermal shock introduces a high risk of physically warping and distorting the component. Despite this distortion risk, carburizing creates a hard exterior shell over a tough, ductile core. This specific combination is ideal for heavy load applications, like industrial gears, that face intense surface friction alongside constant core fracture risks. When components require a hardened surface but cannot tolerate thermal distortion, manufacturers shift to nitriding. This process diffuses nitrogen atoms instead of carbon. The most crucial operational difference is that nitriding hardens the surface without requiring a rapid quenching step. By avoiding thermal shock entirely, a nitrided component preserves the exact micrometer-level dimensional geometry of the original machined part. This subtle shift in diffusion chemistry is what makes nitriding mandatory for highly complex, precision components like engine crankshafts, where post-process machining to correct distortion is simply impossible. The final category is electrochemical conversion. Rather than adding a layer or diffusing foreign atoms, this process chemically alters the base metal itself. Here, we see the extremely thin, naturally occurring protective oxide layer on bare aluminum. Anodizing applies a specific electrochemical voltage that deliberately forces this native oxide layer to grow outward, rapidly thickening into a deep, highly robust shield. Because this thickened layer is grown directly from the substrate's own molecular structure, it offers exceptional adhesion, easily deflecting mechanical wear compared to untreated aluminum. Anodizing scales efficiently across heavy manufacturing. It allows lightweight aluminum members to be utilized in high-wear industrial environments that would traditionally dictate heavier steel alloys. But every metallic structure has a physical limit of tolerance. In extreme high temperature and highly oxidative environments, standard metal coatings fail entirely. To push past these limits, engineers apply ceramic coatings. These specialized layers provide thermal insulation that metals alone cannot achieve. This is a strict operational requirement inside jet engine turbines, where sustained ambient temperatures routinely exceed the melting point of the internal components. The applied ceramic thermal barrier acts as an advanced heat shield, deflecting thermal energy and preventing the underlying metallic base structure from liquefying in midair. Conversion techniques and ceramic thermal barriers push materials completely past their native chemical limits, allowing alloys to operate reliably in environments that would otherwise vaporize them. Regardless of the advanced chemistry of a surface treatment, theoretical performance is useless if the layer physically fails in the field. The primary mechanical failure mode is delamination, when a coating simply detaches and flakes away from the underlying base metal. To prevent this delamination, raw metals must undergo violently abrasive mechanical forces and harsh chemical treatments prior to the coating process. Rigorous surface preparation, thoroughly cleaning and deeply roughening the base metal, is the mandatory prerequisite for achieving a strong, durable, permanent bond. The secondary vulnerability is geometric. Complex parts require absolute uniformity in coating thickness. Even a microscopic gap in coating coverage leaves the component vulnerable. A localized thin spot inside a crevice becomes the initiation point. Corrosive elements easily bypass the shield, hollowing out the structure from the inside and causing perfectly sound coating above it to detach. Without non-destructive thickness measurement tools to strictly verify adequate uniform coverage, a surface-engineered part is an invisible failure waiting to happen. This 3D matrix maps surface engineering optimization. The vertical axis graphs cost, the horizontal tracks wear resistance, and a heat map measures corrosion protection. Galvanizing, nitriding, PVD, and anodizing clustering in distinct zones. Engineers must balance environmental threats against dimensional tolerances and budgets. Surface engineering represents an exceptional level of control over material science. It allows metallurgists to essentially decouple a part's physical constraints, treating a single mechanical component as two independent systems, an optimized bulk structure working in harmony with a specialized surface interface. Now that we understand how to construct these optimized materials, we must examine the end of their life cycle. In our next episode, we will look at how modern industry recovers valuable, critical metals from complex waste streams.